I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have student representative from the Gateway High School. Oh, whoops, I'm sorry. Can I roll code you? I missed that.
Mrs. Boyce? Here. Mr. Bobo? Here. Mrs. Burns?
Yeah, executive session.
Mrs. Delaney? Here. Mrs. McBride?
Here.
Ms. Mungo? Here. Mr. Ritter?
Here.
Dr. Singh?
Here.
And Mrs. Horning?
Here. Okay, we also had executive session from about 5:40 to 6 o'clock. And now if we can have our student representative from Gateway
You're
High
talking about
School.
personnel.
Oh, personnel.
You have to name a subject. That's right.
You're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you all doing?
Good.
All right. I'm glad to be back here. My name is Braden Bungard, and I am the student representative for SGA, or Gateway High School. I don't know if we have the presentation. If not, that's fine. I have my notes here. And I apologize for showing up in jeans and a sweatshirt. Normally, I'd be more dressed up, but I just came from musical rehearsal, and right after this, I got to head right back up there. So I apologize for that. But hello again. So I will go ahead and start off with prom this year. So our theme for prom this year is a Gilded Age Gala, which will take place on May 16th at the Carnegie Music Hall foyer. And there would have been a photo up there, so just close your eyes and imagine this place. I don't know. So musical, as I said, I just came from musical practice, but our musical this year is Once Upon a Mattress, and it is based off of the story of the Princess and the Pea. Our musical shows will start on April 2nd and will last through April 5th. We have a total of 6 shows this year, and we hope to all see you there. And now I'm going to go through stuff that we already have done. So the play was back in January, and we did Importance of Being Earnest. So as you all know, we didn't have a play for about 3 years or so, and we brought it back with our director, Heath Chase. And, oh, look, there we go. Do we have...
Yeah, he's good.
All right, thank you. So there's Once Upon a Mattress, there's a musical, there's photos of practices and all that fun stuff. So the play, we did Importance of Being Earnest, and our director was Heath Chase. And like I said, we did not have a play for 3 years, so bringing it back with Importance of Being Earnest, which is, from what I've heard, a pretty big book by Oscar Wilde. Have any of you read Importance of Being Earnest? I mean, that might sound like a stupid question, but I just thought I'd ask. Okay. 10 students from many different grade levels challenged themselves to perform in the play. This was a fun experience that I would definitely recommend many other students try. So next up, we have district chorus. So this year, 3 students made it in district chorus. This was Diana Novak, Elena Ellinger, and Parker Abel. They had to learn 2 songs for their audition, and after they auditioned, they were given several other songs to learn, which they performed on February 7th at Mount Lebanon High School. They also auditioned for regional chorus, which Elena Ellinger and Diana Novak made it into. They will be performing those songs and auditioning for State's chorus on March 24th at Waynesburg University. Best of luck to them. Next up, last week, I'm pretty sure on Thursday, in wind ensemble, a professor from IUP came to the high school. He helped them practice their music for their concert this week on Thursday. So next up, we have the Black History Field Trip, which Ms. Jenkins and Mrs. Dudek took 20 students to the Black History Summit. The event was sponsored by Stop the Violence Pittsburgh, which is a community partner that supports nonprofit organizations and agencies offering enriching youth experiences. The summit featured history presentations by experts from Pitt, CMU, and CCAC. The event aimed to educate high school students on the significance of African American achievements, boost self-esteem, and empower them to contribute positively to society. Additionally, the summit included a Black History essay competition. Next up, we had and will have the Science Club Cancer Research Workshop. Dr. Boone for the Hillman Cancer Research Center spent an afternoon with interested students presenting current research techniques. He discussed what CRISPR is and how it is used as a genetic engineering tool. I apologize if I messed up saying that. The students participated in a hands-on lab using tools to use CRISPR to cut DNA and see the DNA fragments. Furthermore, 45 students will be traveling to the Hillman Cancer Research Center on March 5th. They will hear current research from principal investigators. I can't read my own writing. All right, well, that's okay. Who lead clinical research teams, nurses that will discuss treatment plans and tour the facilities and labs. Angela Raymond and Dr. Pottinger organized this event and are excited to attend. I apologize if I mispronounced any of those names in the past couple of minutes. Next up, we have Flowers of the Month Club. The Flowers of the Month Club is a special program where students with special needs, with the support of their peers, create beautiful floral arrangements for teachers and staff who have signed up. For just $5 per month, which covers the cost of the flowers, no profit is made from this, students arrange and deliver a fresh bouquet once a month. This allows students to practice socializing and interacting with others and gives them the opportunity to learn new skills like flower arranging. Rosebud Floral in Murraysville partners with the program to ensure they get the most value out of the budget for the flowers. Next up, we have wrestling. The varsity wrestling team has 3 qualifiers for the WPIAL tournament. They are Braden Washington, TJ Mitchell, and Donovan DeLuco. Next up, and definitely not least, we have Gateway's Unified Bocce. Both of Gateway's Unified Bocce teams have qualified for the playoffs. We are one of the only 2 schools in Allegheny County to have both teams qualify. They will compete in the divisional playoffs on Monday, February 24th, which is today. North Allegheny High School and hopes to qualify for regionals. The Gateway Bocce team also attended the Polar Plunge on Friday last week at Acrisure Stadium to support and raise money and awareness for Special Olympics. They have raised almost $2,000 as a team. And that is all, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you all in the future.
Before you go,
Thank you.
how do you like the dance studio?
It's amazing. It's so nice. It's fantastic. It's so nice to have the room back and be able to utilize it. It's very nice.
Is that where they're practicing for the upcoming
Yeah, that's
performance?
where we have some dance and blocking rehearsals, and then hopefully soon, once we get our set done, we'll be able to move everything onto the stage.
And by the way, excellent performance and the importance of being earnest.
Thank you very much.
I want to ask a grandma question. Last year, I was afraid to take my grandchildren to the musical because it was a little more intense.
Yeah.
So since we're talking Princess and the Pea, is this literally Princess and the Pea? So if I bring my 3rd grader,
Yes.
I'm not going to have, okay, great.
Yeah, this
I
is
wanted
very-
to do that last year and I was like, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I can promise you, this is very different from
Very
Chicago.
different from
Very
last year.
different,
Yeah,
yeah.
Chicago's a little
Yeah.
different.
Isn't
sure.
it, they dress up
Yes.
too, the kids coming dress up also, if they
Oh,
want.
yes, I should have announced that. On March 8th, we're doing a fundraiser for the musical. And what it is you can bring your kids, family members, whoever you want, and it's where we will all dress up as like princesses, characters from books, movies, and we're going to be singing along to songs, dancing, and a couple of other things. I'm not 100% sure what we're all doing, but that is on March 8th. There are 2 times.
Here in the auditorium or?
Yes, that'll be in the auditorium.
And evening, afternoon?
I know there's one in the morning.
Oh, there are
and
2.
I think one in the afternoon or evening. I'm not sure on that.
And that's being sent out to all the elementary schools. Everybody's getting that out.
It's on Facebook.
Yes, good. Let the parents know.
Yes.
Good, I'm excited. So I don't have to be paranoid.
And I just want to say one thing, when you brought up about the Unified Bocce, the Gateway did win the 2025 Allegheny East Section Champs today.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
I just wanted to announce that.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thanks, you too. Janet, Miss Burns was able to get in. She was having, yeah, she's in now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have any board member discussion items? Robin, you
Oh, yeah,
have an idea.
the welcome packs. We were discussing how to encourage students who are currently going to charter schools, or even people who are families who are moving into the district. How do they know about us? Especially if they're coming, and Cheryl has said, if there's a family moving into the community from a different community and their children go to a charter school, they might not want to move them from that charter school and put them in Gateway. So how do they find out about Gateway? And we thought about maybe a welcome packet that we can put out to anyone that's moving into the community, or if they're buying a home or renting a home, having some information that they would receive to know exactly how to register their kids for kindergarten, give them information about Gateway, and encourage them to become students of the Gateway District. So,
Have some little gift in there too.
if you want to supply it.
Yeah, we can look into what that.
I mean, depending on the cost of that, but it might be something that,
Gateway novelty.
yeah, something to tell them who we are. And, we need to start bringing kids from charter schools to our school. We have a great school.
We still have the HR person from the IU working with us on those kind of things. Is that something he could do?
Yeah, definitely. That's something that he has been working on, Jeremy.
He's been working on a welcome pack.
Well, that'll be something that we'll incorporate, because I know he's working with Dr. Rossi to reach out to some of the families.
We can even give it to real estate offices in the area or rentals, to let them pass it along when people come and sign up or whatever. This is switching gears. Did you all get this last PSBA School Leader magazine? Did you notice inside there, and I don't know if this is something we can use, Mike, they have a graph, and maybe John Walsh too, that North Penn School District has a scoring matrix for rating capital projects, and they have all this, I don't know if you all saw this, because it looked like a good idea. I don't think did we ever do something like that?
We're going to. I do have a scoring matrix for the we're advertising tonight for the energy program.
Yeah,
So when we get more vendors in, I do have a scoring matrix
so
for that.
something similar, so this is
Something
not,
I don't know if it's the exact one, but
well,
yes.
it's the same principle.
Yeah, okay.
Same
Yes.
principle.
Yes, I do have that.
Okay,
Once the advertisement goes in the paper and we get all the RFQs back, we are going to do a scoring matrix.
because the other thing I was thinking about, because at the next, and I guess Donna knows more about this than us, the next budget meeting, we're going to have the demographics presentation. So,
I believe, Dr. Rossi, that's March 28th, the demographic people are coming, correct?
20th, yes, they're gonna do a presentation, yes.
yeah, so that would also give us data
Right.
to look at all this too. I just thought this was sort of
Yeah.
nice, this graph, so.
Mike had actually created something like this when we did the bank.
Yes,
Yeah,
very similar, yes.
We did basically the same kind of thing,
Yes.
graded the various things we were interested in, how each bank performed in that, and that allowed us to get down to two banks, so.
yeah, it just makes it easier for us to know when you graph it,
Yeah.
the different things. I thought that was a really good bit
Thank
of
you.
information. No, thank you for doing that.
You said March 28th.
Anybody else have any more discussion items?
I just
No, I said that's
would like to
Friday.
introduce our new HR person. Janet, do you want to introduce him?
Did you give him a heads up?
I am the new Director of HR, officially starting Friday, but I have been here in the district last week and early this week just to get acclimated and to become abreast of how everything is done. So I'm very excited to be here and very honored. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
He's even here, staying so far.
Dr. Shaky. Financial.
All right, financial reports, Mr. Zarellis.
Dr. Chaffee. I have 4 financial reports. Item 4.1 lists the bills February of 2025. Item 4.2, the financial statements for January of 2025.
So moved.
Second,
Janet, can we have a roll call, please?
Bova.
Aye.
Mrs. Burns.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Ms. Mungo.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce. Aye.
Minutes from previous meeting? Yep.
Second.
Either how or you want voice.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6, personnel. 6.1, we have various individuals there for employment. Item 6.2, 1 retirement. 6.3, 3 resignations. 6.4, 3 event workers. 6.5, several leaves. 6.6, several volunteers. And 6.7, 1 additional supplemental.
Second.
Anybody have any questions?
I had a couple people ask me about all the folks with the Cyber Academy credit recovery, which I think I explained it well enough, but 10 seconds and explain why all these teachers are involved in it.
Yeah, these teachers are involved in the credit recovery aspect, the online Cyber Academy. And these are our teachers that will take on different courses and have certain students that are signed up for that particular course, and it's all online. So they'll go through the curriculum and also do some grading and some of that.
Does the Cyber Academy Credit Recovery follow the same certifications that the school does? You have to be certified in what you're teaching, so that's
Yes.
why there's so each subject.
And these are the kids that were having problems, this is the same program that you're using, these teachers who were recovering because they did not do well the first time around in the regular classroom. Just out of curiosity, I meant to ask you this last time. What if they continue not to do well? What do you do now?
Well, there's other safety nets that are built in. I mean, if they continue not to do well in the credit recovery, then counselors will be involved. We also have Dr. Klinger, Ms. Reeder within that department that's going to assist students. So it's not very common that we have students that don't do well during the credit recovery phase, but if they do, show that they need a little extra help, we'll have the resources there for them.
I'm glad to hear that very few struggle the second time around.
Any other questions? Janet?
Mrs. Burns.
Aye. Sorry, I had to find the mute button.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Ms. Mungo.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce. Aye. Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Next item, administrative resolutions. Item 7.1, approve policies as listed. 7.2, approve the new cyber course proposal for Gateway High School. 7.3, approve the comprehensive planning phase 2 schools K-12 guidance plan. 7.4, approve the addendum to agreement for college and high school dual credit agreement between Seton Hill University and Gateway School District. Item 7.5, approve the conferences as listed. Item 7.6, approve the agreement between the Meadows Psychiatric Center and the Gateway School District. Item 7.7, approve the affiliation agreement between Carlow University and Gateway School District for student teaching.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any questions?
As always. Just out of curiosity, if we would travel, say it's coming up, John and I were going to support the responsibility of being a representative for Gateway, and they do the school board association thing in like the Poconos. Do we fund that ourselves, or how does that work? If John or I would decide to go to that, we handle that on our own.
We reimburse you.
You reimburse
Oh,
it?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's money
you know what,
set-
I've never
for-
remember it being on here,
think-
and I was thinking, I don't remember what we
I
did.
forget what board member last year was paying a lot. I think Mr. Ritter was paying a lot of expenses out of his own pocket, and we do have money available.
So you would just keep the receipts and then submit?
Yes, if I can step in on that.
Yes, please.
So we can, if it's an overnight stay, obviously with the district, we can
make the hotel arrangements, any registration fees for the conference we can take care of. And then you would be responsible for any meals, mileage, tolls, things like that. Bring all your receipts back to me, and then we would get you reimbursed.
Do you have, like a lot of companies, a form that we fill out and attach the receipt? You have a form. So that would not necessarily show up on here
Anything that's $200
or more has to come on here, and then anything else we accumulate during our trip, like fees, which you can't account
Because
for.
I have the meal allotment for the days when it's out of the district, when it's not a local conference.
I'm not going to say we're going to necessarily, where John is. John, where are you? I'm not going to necessarily say we're going to do that, but I know John has done that. I just didn't know how you
Yes.
managed to do that. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Can we have a roll call, Money?
Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo? Aye. Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns?
Aye.
Dr. Chaky, Administrative Resolutions.
Administrative resolutions business, Mr. Zarellis.
Checking. Item 8.1, approve the acceptance of district donations for the 24-25 school year. Anonymous donor, $200 for the fourth grade choral program. Funds will help pay for the students' shirts for concerts at all 4 elementary buildings. 8.2, anonymous donor donated a flute for the music department. The flute will be used by the high school music department. Item 8.2, approve the advertisement for energy conservation. Item 8.3, approve the proposal from Shaw Turf to replace the batter's box and pitching area at the high school by $11,937. Item 8.4, approve the acceptance of the district's June 30th, 2024 audited financial statements as listed. Item 8.5, approve the 5-year charter for the Spectrum Charter School Incorporated. Item 8.6, approve Dakota Grove landscaping for grass cutting and trimming for the 2025 through 2027. Prices as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Zarellis?
8.6,
I'm sorry.
with the landscaping. Was there
Yes.
much of a difference from what we were paying, or?
It's at about $600 more per cutting. But we were just looking for somebody who's more consistent. When I reached out to the Power Landscaping Company, they didn't submit a bid.
Okay.
Mike, if anybody has any, because this happens a lot, the kids take music lessons, they have flutes and clarinets and instruments, and then they don't pursue it at a certain point. Do they come to you if they want to donate the
This-
instrument? What's the process? in
A
case
gentleman showed up here one day with a brand new, was it a float?
Yeah.
And donated it. He wanted to be anonymous. If anyone wants to donate, they can come and see me, absolutely. And I'll get it to the right person.
It goes through you, so if anybody had one,
Yeah, they can bring it
they
here.
can bring it in and donate it to the cause. Okay.
Believe it or not, Big Lots had clarinets, flutes, trumpets,
Really?
and acoustic guitars.
On clearance when they were going out of business?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, $35. I got one of each. I did, it's for a fundraiser. Yeah, it was for a fundraiser. Yeah, they're really
That
nice.
is amazing.
Yeah.
That
They
is
just,
amazing.
I asked the clerk, and I said, I've never seen musical instruments at Big Lots. She said, we haven't either, but there was a warehouse and they were getting rid of all of the items, so.
Wow.
If you're looking to donate one, or if you need one, try one of the Big Lots that's going out of business. They
Oh,
have
that's amazing.
Thank you.
$35.
Thanks, Robin.
Huh.
Does anybody have any other questions on administrative resolutions?
I wanted to piggyback on the grass cutting and trimming. So I just want to make sure, this is for all of our properties, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And would we need them for anything other than that?
If
Like-
we do, it's written in our contract.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
if
seeding?
they do the
or-
flower beds or some
Okay.
additional weeding.
Okay, I was just wondering about
Yes.
that. Okay.
How often, did they specify how often they will do the cuttings?
I haven't discussed that with them yet, but it's probably going to be an as-needed basis, because they're local.
Okay.
And this is all of our grass, because this is pretty cheap. You know what people are
Right.
charging to mow your grass these
I
days?
know.
Yeah, that's
So
what I
this
was.
is all of our, and done regularly to a standard, and do it like when your
Yeah.
lawn and home done.
Yes.
And what's the season like? From when to when?
It's 2,600 per cut.
No, when do they start cutting?
Oh, as soon as we notify. As soon as we notify.
okay. Since the
If
weather
this-
is-
Well, I shouldn't say when the snow melts, because it did melt over the weekend.
It did, yeah,
Are you thinking about buying?
I know, I'm thinking of hiring them, because there's, I'm telling you, they can't do it this cheaply. They're, somewhere this year, someone's gonna say, either we can't come that frequently, or we need more money. Like the guy who comes to mow the grass when I'm out of town, it's like $60, and I have about an acre.
I get it.
So this is wonderful, but I'm skeptical, so we'll see.
What about the hillside at the middle school? It's always a challenge.
Well, we have a machine that does the hillside up here.
That's
Yeah,
not inclusive of
right,
that, that's gonna be a
right.
separate.
Still a lot of land.
Any other
Still a lot.
questions?
I know we talked about 8.3 last week. Where are we at? I mean, it was part of a discussion last week when we were talking about the use of our facilities and making sure that, you know, just normal wear and tear or anything after that, someone being responsible for it. Are we, I know it's only been a week, but what's the game plan moving forward?
Well, we did, and Mr. Walsh has been working with the athletic department, and I did speak to the representative that's installing the turf. Going forward, when they do the new contracts, whoever uses the field is going to have to groom it and replace the pellets after every event. That's part of the problem. They weren't being replaced, weren't being groomed, and that caused a lot of unnecessary damage.
So I think Jack had brought it up, like, is this something that we're going to see year after year? You know, it starts to add up, so.
But Shaw will be sending out a representative to make sure things are being done properly,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and we have a groomer, because we have one for the high school, for the football field.
Okay.
You know, Robin, didn't you bring up last time we were talking about this, you know, when there's clutter left over and folks don't pick it up, then our team has to be paid to pick it up. And then if we could engineer some sort of a deposit, and if the folks don't clean up after themselves, then we just take the money out of the deposit they've given us, and then we pay our folks to clean up. I thought that was a clever idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, Robin was right, but I think that's something John,
Right.
isn't John Walsh working on that, John?
John, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. And we are working on that. We're trying to incorporate it into the 707 policy. We're still very much in the infancy of this. We have a lot to work on and a lot to get through, but it is something that we're talking about. The only place that's going to actually come in to be a problem is for, like, I'll just use them as an example, is Monroeville Rec. They have so many different groups. Who's going to put the deposit down? You know, there are things that we need to work out, because some head organizations sometimes have multiple groups that are working under their title. And that's something that we've been discussing and something that we're working on.
but wouldn't that be their issue?
Yeah, right, because I'm sure that we can work out their detail, and they
Yeah,
figure
let's
out who
just
that
charge
is.
them all a deposit, and then we'll give it back because we're honest.
Well, you know, you can't rent any facility in our area without a deposit. Nothing, you know.
That makes it easy for us, right?
A ballroom, anything. So they've been skating for a while, so okay, now we're just gonna get up to speed, and whatever mechanism you use is fine, and how they decide
That's
which
their,
of those entities is gonna be responsible, frankly, I don't care. But all we need to do is come up with a number per event, per facility. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this board's in favor of this. right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Do we need something to make this more formal, more, yeah, we want deposits on all of our facilities before someone uses them? Do we have to do something?
I think they're reworking that policy. John, is that what you said? You're reworking that 701 policy?
He's talking more about having a deposit put down.
Isn't that part of that policy?
That would be the same thing.
Yes, that would be part of the policy.
sounds good, thank
So we're
you.
clear that we want this done, and again, the details of however many organizations are renting something,
We
we
don't
don't
care.
need to be involved in that. We want to know the dollars and that they're in place before they.
And that they respect our places here, right?
Right.
So-
They take care of it, they get it back.
You were saying this would go into effect in July? You're hoping to have it ready in July?
Correct. We're hoping to have it ready for July.
So we're using the word hoping, but this group,
I'm not sure why that's.
well, I'm
let's not-
saying,
Let's just have it done
Right.
before the season starts.
correct, because I believe this group that we're talking about has games prior to that. So everything, we will know everything is in place before they start.
We will advance it as fast as we possibly can. We'll start writing everything up, and we'll get the next group together with some board members included in administration, and we'll move it forward.
Okay.
We could do it without a policy. The problem with the policy is it could take 60 days. We have to display the policy and then vote on it.
Okay.
John Walsh, am I wrong in that group we consistently go back to has a Mother's Day tournament coming up, which would be May?
Cheryl, can we vote on this? And Guy said we don't have to wait for that policy, so they can put it
I
in their
just wondered
contract.
if the next time we would have them here, is that accurate, May? Because that's what they're posting on their website.
Oh, okay.
And Leslie, there's
John, is
another
that-
technique, I could bounce this off Chelsea, and that is, instead of going through a policy, we could instruct the superintendents to create an administrative regulation, and they can just put it in there. And then if it elevates to a need for policy change, then this board can deal with that later, right?
Yeah,
You're absolutely correct.
there we go. Is it May, John, to answer Cheryl's question?
Do you know if that's right? They show that on their website, they have a May tournament, Mother's Day.
They're showing it for a lot of different areas that they're playing. We have not approved any of their fields for our facilities until we know what our teams are doing, so that we don't interfere with that.
Thank you, John. Any other questions on 8? Nope. Janet, call the roll, please.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo? Aye. Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Boba?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney? Aye.
Thank you. I have no board member resolutions. Do we have comments from residents on non-agenda items?
Mrs. Beaver has to speak when she got here tonight.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Beagle, and I am here on behalf of the Monroeville Marlins Swim Club. As some of you are aware, this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we hosted what the AMS calls the Silver Swim Championships for swimmers to be able to be in this meet. They have to meet certain time standards. It is a big meet to qualify for. Getting to those time standards are good, so this is a big deal meet. We had 32 total teams qualifying, farthest traveling from Erie to here. 621 total swimmers, which equated to about 3,243 splashes. And that's literally dives off the block. It started Friday night with our distance events with our smaller kids, 11 and under, swimming 500 meters, 1,000 meters, a mile. It is truly impressive to watch. It was an incredibly long weekend for all of us that are involved from beginning to end. But we, as the Marlins board, our coaches, we could not have done this at all without the cooperation of the district, especially with the help of Mr. Hall, Dr. Chakey, Mr. Walsh, Mrs. McBride, Mrs. Warning, I'm sorry, I can't talk today, I'm very tired. Organizing a meeting with us early on so that we could get everything that we needed out there, everything you needed from us together, made the event very easy to go. You guys made it so that we could be great hosts. We had nothing but compliments from the other teams on the facilities, the space that we had, the bathrooms. As funny as that is, when you have large events, sporting events that are at facilities, you notice how towards the end your bathrooms get. I cannot commend our custodial services near enough for how well they kept these facilities throughout the entire event. Not a garbage can was overflowed. There were no issues. There was always toilet paper, paper towels, bathrooms, the facilities. If we needed anything, they were there. Our security team that was here, Gateway's security officers, were interacting with the swimmers, high-fiving, asking. I mean, they just made it such a wonderful experience for us to host. They made it easier. We had nothing but compliments from other teams' coaches with how well the facilities were, how well the meet was run. The AMS officials that come in to do the judging complimented on everything. So I just want to thank you guys for being able to help us make this meet be what it was. And we truly, truly from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Glad it went well. Was this the first time this meet was here?
This meet, yes, this specific, we've hosted smaller AMS meets, but this is like, you qualify for this meet and you'd see the swimmers' faces when they'd stop and see the clock and see that they finally got the time cut to make it. The next big meet is pit champs meets where it's 8 times and above, and those are fast times, and they follow the system up enough and qualify enough, they can get to Olympic trials. Like this is such a big meet, and the smiles on the kids' faces, and it makes it all worth it. So thank you so much for helping us.
Well, I want to thank you for all your work in putting this on. And this does remind me of something. These facilities, we're talking about our ball fields and this pool. Some folks in the community occasionally think of these things as luxuries. And that's an argument you can make. But when we have events like this, people meet Gateway. People meet our community through these facilities. And whether you like it or not, it reflects on us like a first impression. And when we spend a lot of money on starting blocks, for example. People like stopped me and said, you can build a box with wood, and and I don't know about swimming, but I know that's not true. Anyway, I appreciate you mentioning even folks coming from Erie. These entities are community assets. They're not just playthings, and it means something to this community and this district. And sometimes they're hard decisions to make about upgrading them, and I think this is why we do it. So thank you, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. Cannot thank you enough. Thank you.
By the way, I swam my whole life together. I was thinking, I did this kind of
We have any other comments from residents on non-agenda items?
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Matt Erickson. I'm the CEO at Spectrum Charter School. I'm fortunate to have our president and vice president, Mrs. Ellen Zerba and Mrs. Michelle Gutman with me. Both are Gateway residents. But I really appreciate the opportunity to not only attend the meeting, but your patience and kindness with this charter renewal. So on behalf of our students, our families, our staff, thank you. And we are really looking forward to the next 5 years. But we are very thankful for the positive working relationship we have with the district. We know that doesn't happen all the time. But we really appreciate you and everything you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Dr. Chaky, administrative reports.
Okay, we have a few updates this evening. Michael, can you go to the next slide, please? We just want to remind everyone about the February 26th curriculum night at the high school, where parents can come in, learn about the curriculum, get some scheduling information. That'll be on the 26th at 6 o'clock.
You're killing me. That's my last one going to high school.
Yeah. Also, the Forbes Road Open House, March 13th at 6 o'clock. And congratulations, Daniel Bandos. One major component of this competition is the engineering design report. Daniel worked tirelessly on his report. At internationals, Daniel's report received first place. So congratulations, Daniel. And we do have a couple more slides, Micah.
Here we go.
1 minute.
Just like the game you play at home with your kids. See who doesn't talk first.
But just,
Leslie, you can go to the next. We're having some technical issues.
Okay. Do we have any board committee reports from last week? I don't think, we didn't have any committee meetings.
The only thing I did, but we're having that issue. Coach Hall, we had talked about, Mr. Bova and myself, about some kind of remembrance to our school board member, Scotty Williams. And there is a picture of them having, once they get the technical issues resolved, they got the initials SW put on the baseball caps for the team this year. And it's very nice.
Oh, wow.
Leslie. I'm sorry, did you want to say?
No, go on.
The end of the month in March, when we have to have our questions submitted to the IU, because they're going to have legislators coming, how are we going to do that? Are we going to all submit individual questions to you, and then it goes, or how are we going to make that work or happen?
You guys are going, right? Or
We have
represent? Okay, a representative.
I am already.
Okay.
John is going?
I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
I
can
don't
submit
know
them to,
yet.
because I have you both as the chair, because you guys were gonna.
Right.
Yeah, we can send them all to you
You
too.
want them sent out, because it sounded like we had, John, do we have to mail them in to them first?
Yes.
Yeah, it has to go to them. I don't know, do they go through you, or does it go through maybe Leslie, or does it matter how we do it?
I think Janet can help you out with that.
You can put it all together for us, we submit the questions to you. When do you want them by?
Submits.
When are they due? It's the end of the, March, what's it, 28th, 27th? Something like that.
I mean, as long as I have them a few days ahead of time and an email address where I'm submitting to, and then I can put everything and submit everything. We can talk about getting everything.
Okay, well, you let us know when you think you want the information, and so everybody, that way, if there's duplications, you can put them all together. Okay.
Perfect. Anybody else have any board reports?
Well, I was going to mention some things, activities and all that I was able to participate. My printer broke down, so I don't have enough sheets to share. When I was doing it, we can look at it. The past week actually was very, very busy. I had an opportunity to introduce to the first graders at Ramsey Elementary, Bessie Coleman. And it's such a fun thing when you're working with our young minds and our young students, because they are so enthusiastic. That's a good word to describe them at that age. Enthusiastic about learning and just finding out, being more knowledgeable about a lot of things that we have. So I introduced them to that and let them know that you can be a pilot if you want. So we were practicing flying the planes.
How did you do that?
Well, we just got into controls, and I told them no, actually, yeah, and I do that with little kids because they have so much fun with that. I said, turn the knobs, and so both male and female, because Bessie Coleman, for those that may not be aware, she was the first African-American woman to get her pilot's license back in 1921. And sometimes you want to just plant seeds in the minds of our students that, yes, you can do that, yes, you can be that. And then also, the student government Bungard, Bryant, he had mentioned about the summit, the Black History Summit essay contest. I did go along with them on the bus for the field trip, which was always fun. About 22 of the students well behaved, and I think they again get some eye openers, some things I even learned that I had no idea until going to that and other summits that we've had. I'm also one of the judges anyway for the essays. Unfortunately, Gateway didn't have their essays in, which hopefully next year they will, because they give some pretty big trophies. And I think once they, and not just trophies, money, $100, $200, $300, different things like that. And that's always, I know, incentive for our kids. And then today, I didn't get to, I took pictures, but I didn't get to get them ready to show on the screen. And that's why I'm dressed in my sorority regalia, so to speak, or paraphernalia. At the high school, we introduced the students to what is really the Divine Nine. That's a term that was often used, and it's a nickname they'd call it for the historically Black Greek lettered organizations that were part of the Panhellenic Council. So the students, there was about 300 students or so that were in the auditorium, and various members from the various Greek organizations, and I'm a proud member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and we had other members from various sororities, and as I said, the various sororities and the various fraternities. And a couple of the younger ones were able to do what they call step, a little step thing. So we were, it's a way to learn and to just expose students to things that they just may not be aware of. People would say, well, what was the point? Why did you have the Black fraternities and sororities? And for example, in 1908 is when at Howard University that some of the women at the college there started this sorority. In 1906, even predating that, was at Cornell University where various young Black students started the Alpha Kappa Alpha fraternity, because many wanted to be more involved socially, but at the same time as these groups, and they weren't able to be involved, they weren't included in the activities and many things on the campus, like Cornell was where Alpha was started. So in order to just have a certain bonding, have a certain connectedness, have to be able to talk with others when you're concerned, when you don't feel that maybe you're part of what's going on, and you can share with someone else, as we call it, sisterhood or brotherhood. And later, the various sororities and fraternities actually, they have targeted services. And when I say that, everything from healthcare to doing activities in the community, to getting people out to vote, to just a number of activities in which we try to keep even our younger generation involved and let them know this is what you do. That our slogan is service to all mankind. And that's what we promote, is service. As I said, there are a lot of other fun activities, but majority that we try to instill upon even the younger members is that these are service activities that you give back to your community. Even as you moved on, you always want to be able to give back to the community. So I just wanted to share that. And don't forget, coming up in March, I'm not sure of the exact days, it's March 4th through the 6th, the Read Across America. So many of our board members have participated, I'm sure, and many already know who I'm going to be, but I do have other choices. So we get an opportunity to interact with our kids and the community. And I think that's just in terms of generational, you want to always connect with our youth because they're going to be taking care of us in the coming years. So we appreciate them very much. That's it.
So I have something. Coach Ritter, you're lucky to have me. There was a tour a couple months ago. My classmate from 1974, Larry Robertson. We were going around seeing the pool and everything else with all of his classmates. And he says, John, so you coaching? I said, yeah. He says, they're lucky to have you. I said, that would make a good T-shirt. So he made me a T-shirt, Coach Ritter.
Way to go, John.
They're lucky to have me. So listen, I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course, but if, Don Hall, if I may steal a little bit of your thunder coming up, congratulations to Dino Natarovic, who on Saturday won the shot put of the Tri-State Coaches Indoor Championship. His winning throw of 58.75 beat his nearest competitor by almost 4 feet, qualified him for states. I mean, we've got Jeanette. You're up there at the Marlins. It's a feeder program for the swim team. Rich and Michelle, you guys are my heroes. You're taking care of the autistic kids. You're doing everything in the background. Nobody knows me or any of these other folks. But if anybody can find ways to volunteer, please just go find a way to do it. There's so much need. Kids at all different ages, every different kind of skill or background or arm around their shoulders or reading to them or helping them throw shot puts, whatever it is. Find a way to volunteer. What else are you going to do with your time? Sit home with the Seinfeld like me? No, don't do it. Get out and volunteer. There's a high return investment when these kids look you in the eye and say, thank you, Mr. Ritter, thank you. What's better than that? So just do it.
Thank you, John.
One thing, Susan, you have people researching all kinds of stuff and you don't even know yet. Do you know who Charles Drew is?
Yes.
Did you ever mention him before? Because my husband was reading about him. Charles Drew is a Black American surgeon and researcher, and he's the father of the blood bank. And he came up with plasma. And during World War II, he was out in the field with our soldiers. So what happened is, it's the first time, and he invented it, that you could store plasma and blood. Think about all the people in the world, no matter who they were and where they were at, who were injured, that benefited from his. All our blood is red. And all our plasma is the same, so it was a blessing that we had him.
And you know, the sad part is when he himself needed blood and plasma because of the segregation that occurred, he was not able to get it.
Well, we're over that, and now we are able to do, doesn't matter where you're at or who you are, you have that ability now to get it, so that's a great thing. You have people out there reading this stuff, just to let you know. Okay, thank you.
Do we have anybody online? Dawn? Coach Hall?
Hey there. I just wanted to, again, reiterate what Mr. Ritter said about Dino Natarevic. He won a big meet, an indoor tri-state meet, with a phenomenal throw. It looks like he's going to have a great spring and qualify for states again if everything stays on track. So really excited for him. He works his tail off. You see him all the time, all off season. Congrats to him. The other thing is I did submit a photo also of our bocce teams. The little bit of a bummer from today's playoff was we got the 1 and the 4 seed. So while it's great that both qualified, they played each other in the first round. And the team two defeated team 1, which I think team 2 was the higher seed, the 1 seed, and then went on to beat Burrow in a back and forth, really exciting, came down to the final frame championship match. Our team 1 did take 3rd place as well. A lot of smiles, a lot of excitement. Another year going up on that banner in the gym. 3 years in, we've got 2 section championships for our bocce team. And again, I was also going to mention the ball caps. We were kind of touched when they came in today. We had sent them out to be embroidered with Scotty Williams. And again, I think it's going to be pretty neat. We're going to do a moment of silence before games this spring, as well as recognize and mention why the initials are on the ball caps. Nobody loved Gateway baseball like Scotty, and he'll be missed, but remembered.
Thank you, Coach. Anybody else online?
Dawn, question. It was in the Times Express, it listed one of our players got a scholarship for a Division II school football. I don't remember seeing this last year. I haven't been on the board that long. Is there a list of where kids that leave Gateway, they get scholarships in all sports? I always see them in the paper, but it's always the same sports. Is there like a list somewhere we can see in the various sports if kids got scholarships? Just curious.
No, we kind of follow the same process when we have a signing ceremony, whether it be a swimmer or a track athlete or a baseball player or a basketball player or a football player or whomever, track athlete. But that all said, I don't know that we've ever put a comprehensive list together on signing day, again, to be comprehensive. So that's something that we could take on board in athletics. And at the end of every signing period, we could put it in that newsletter that Jeremy is doing such a great job with, and make sure that you all know exactly who signed and where.
That would be great because I don't think the Times Express always picks up every sport. So I think it's nice to know, recognize all the kids that did the work.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anybody else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you.